Here's what I say.
Yeah.
What I even have a 7-figure domain name picked out for you. I will write the $5 million check for you to go do it as far as a seed round, or up to 5 million if you want to let other people
Oh,
in.
shit.
That's amazing.
This just got spicy. Okay.
Oh my God. What's the domain name that you have?
I am dead serious.
I feel like I can rule the world. I know I could be what I want to. I put my all in it like no days off. On the road, let's travel, never looking back.
All right. We just got done like 30 seconds ago talking to the guy who we're going to introduce you to now. That was amazing. He's amazing. Dharmesh is amazing.
He's very cool.
So we have Dharmesh. I don't even know what is Dharmesh's last name? Dharmesh Shah?
I think Shah.
I just know him as Dharmesh. He's the co-founder of...
He's like Beyonce. You know, they just go with the one name at a certain point. Ronaldo, Beyonce, Dharmesh. That's it.
So Dharmesh is the co-founder of HubSpot. He's the largest shareholder. I mean, we got pretty into it right away. We're like, just tell us what's it like to be a billionaire.
So I just Googled your net worth, and it appears you're worth $1 billion.
Yeah. So we asked him,
how does that feel? And he's like,
No, I told him I was going to talk to him about that. So we talked to him about just like wealth, which was...
Let's rattle off some of the dope things he's done. So started HubSpot. HubSpot's like a $25 billion company or something like that. But he's done some other cool things. Early investor in
Coinbase, Dropbox, and loads of different stuff.
Right. And then also just has kind of like, he's like us. He's got that itch, that entrepreneurial itch. So he we talk a little bit about, he's got like 20 domain names, some domain names that are worth like, millions of dollars, and others that are, just simple ideas. Whenever he has an idea.
By the way, hundreds of domain names.
Right. But he's like got ideas loaded into them like, here's what you might do with this idea. And then here's a good domain name for it. And so I think he's sort of like, he's one of our people in that sense. Like he's an idea person. He's a frameworks person. So he shared some frameworks. He shared a bunch of ideas, two really big ideas in my opinion.
One idea on air. He goes, Sean, if you want to start this, I'll fund you right now for $5 million.
Yeah. He made me an offer I pretty much couldn't refuse. I just had to sort of, squeeze my thighs and sit still here. So but I thought it was exciting. I thought the actual ideas were really great. So I think people are going to like that. We talk a little bit about wealth. We talk a little bit about kind of like early days, HubSpot and the hustle acquisition. And then we talk a bunch about ideas.
And then we, some of those ideas are about like a new, different type of LinkedIn or remote community. We talked about, he talked about his framework for evaluating if an idea is good or not, if he should pursue it. That was actually incredibly educational. It was awesome, dude. It was great. So we'll get to the episode. Can you guys do me a favor though? Click that subscribe button on iTunes and that follow button on Spotify. That would mean a lot. Do we have to tell them anything else?
Well, there's a thing going around where if you just post on your social networks and you're just like, hey, PSA to whoever needs this podcast, makes my commutes amazing. This is the best business podcast, hands down. Good karma comes to you in your next life. So that's just something, if you're interested in having a good next life, I would just do that.
Yeah, and I'll reshare that for sure. I mean, because it impacts my ego, and I share all compliments. So go ahead and do that. And make sure you share the iTunes or Spotify link with it. Thank you very much.
Here's the thing about me: I like compliments. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy this episode.
I don't remember what I was going to say, but right before you came on, I was asking Dharmesh what he listens to, and he says that he listens to us almost every day for the past 60 days.
Amazing. Has that changed you? You've probably become a worse person. You seem like a pretty good person. I feel like if you listen to us for 60 straight days, there's going to be a part of your brain that's good, but a part that gets like corrupted slightly.
I think that's true. That's an astute observation. We just have, I won't say like completely divergent paths. It's been good though. I'm a believer in like just these kind of orthogonal things. That's like, this is not stuff I'm like, looking at retail businesses or like you guys have a wide array of stuff. But I think that kind of thing like builds a different muscle group, and I think it's been useful for me. I'll put it to you that way. It's we're not separated birth by any stretch. We have things that three of us collectively have in common, but there are things that I'm just different, and it'll come out in the pod. I'm a weird dude.
We're on now, so this is the pod. But I have a feeling this might go a little long, and I'm okay with that. Sean, do what you want. But in my world, so I was just hanging out with Heat and Shah yesterday, and your name came up. We were just talking to Nathan Barry the other day. Your name came up. Sean and I are in this text group where people talk about BitClout, your name comes up. Your name comes up everywhere. Like you're like a little, like you got like a spider web. Like you get your hands in all these little things. And I think part of it's because you've been in the game for a while and you're incredibly successful. But this is Dharmesh. Dharmesh is you're the co-founder of HubSpot. Is your title CTO?
Yes, CTO.
Are you active? Like, are you working really hard at HubSpot? Like, how do you have time to have your hands in all this different stuff?
So the answer is yes. HubSpot is my obsession and preoccupation. Anything else that you see me doing, there's probably some diabolical thread that connects it back to HubSpot. There is, right? So yeah, it's my baby. It's the thing that I spend pretty much all of my kind of non-family time, non-personal time on. So it's my.
And I just want to describe for people who are not watching. So you should go to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/HustleCon, and you'll see the videos. But so here's what I see. So Dharmesh is sitting there. He's got a keyboard, like a piano keyboard to his right. He's got I think a Steve Jobs piece of art behind him, or is that Lennon or something like that? I can't tell exactly who it is. John Lennon, maybe. And you're in this room. So just is this where you work on a day-to-day basis?
So this is, well, yes and no. So this
you're getting tricked, Sean. You're getting tricked. Listen.
This is my living room, but it's like a capture a moment in time when the living room was somewhat less disorganized than it usually would be. But it's a virtual background. I've got the green screen and things set up so I can.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. Because usually when you have a green screen, it's like half your head also turns into like the background. And this one's actually pretty good. All right. I'm impressed.
I've done like a multiple green screen, so I'm sort of surrounded with it. So if I need to twist the camera one way or the other, it's still kind of.
So you're kind of doing the Oasis thing that we talked about. You have a virtual background, but the virtual background is not just you on a beach, like a fake situation. It's your actual living room when it's like clean and perfect the way you want it or whatever. Yeah. And you're like, that's what I want my background to be, regardless of the reality of the current, whatever your current situation is.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's really cool is that the keyboard itself is actually real. That's not part of the background. So if I go here, you'll see that the key press makes sound. So it's just kind of cool.
So let me do like a very brief intro and like an overview of what we're going to talk about. So Dharmesh sent us like a list of ideas. We're going to get into them, but I need to give a background here so the listeners entirely understand. So HubSpot today is like a 25 or 30, I don't know, whatever the market cap is. So $25 billion publicly traded company. You co-founded it 15 years ago, I think.
Yep.
Prior to that, you had another startup that you sold for a significant amount of money. We can talk about that. Throughout this whole time, you own, I believe, millions and millions of dollars worth of domains. Like you bought your wife like as a gift, humanism.com, which we got to talk about. That's pretty funny. You're an angel investor in a lot of different startups, including Coinbase and things like that. You've got your hands on all these different things. Like you, according to Wallmine or wallstreetmine.com, you're worth today $850 million. So like you do a little bit of everything in the world of business. It's incredibly fascinating. And so I wanted to talk about, you might be the wealthiest person we've ever had on this podcast. I'm going to ask you questions about that. I don't know.
It's okay. It's fine.
We're gonna ask you questions about.
It doesn't really matter. That's the one thing I've learned. We can talk about that too.
Well, that's okay if it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about your ideas. We're going to talk about building HubSpot. We're going to talk about why you invest in what you invest, and we're going to talk about do you ever invest in non-startup stuff? We're going to talk about a lot of stuff.